So there's a really strong trend that I've noticed over the last few weeks, and what it is, it's people from Marvel who are going off into separate movies and kind of working together, and it's quite a strong trend. I've found around 13 movies that feature at least two Marvel actors working together, or the directors. And what it could be is that the casting directors are looking to use the publicity from Marvel Avengers Endgame to draw attention towards their movie. Or the directors, in this case of Cherry, featuring Tom Holland, is a way of the directors recognising that they're good talent and they want to work with them outside of Marvel. And I don't know what impact this will have on Marvel. So leave your comments, let me know what you think to this, because it's a very strong trend that's just continuing to grow. So in this example, and this actually sounds like a very good movie, I think this could be quite a movie to watch. So this is going to be directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo, obviously the directors of Avengers Endgame, and it features Tom Holland. And the premise to this movie is an army medic suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder becomes a serial bank robber after an addiction to drugs puts him in debt. So this actually sounds like quite a good premise. I like the idea of this movie. And it is based on a book, but it is the Russo brothers, again working with Tom Holland. So the Russo brothers, obviously through their experience of Marvel, have direct access to Tom Holland. They could probably phone him up, talk to him about other movies, other projects that Tom Holland might be interested in. And that's how this has come about. But this isn't alone. There's a number of these movies. So the next one is 21 Bridges. Now this features Chadwick Boseman, but is also produced by Joe and Anthony Russo. And there's a whole host of movies that the Russo brothers are going to produce going forward. There's about 15 movies that they're due to produce that's already booked up, and this is another one. So this is Dakar. Now this has actually been filmed, and this features Chris Hemsworth, and again produced by Joe and Anthony Russo. Then this one's a bit different. This is Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, but it does feature Chris Hemsworth. Now Kevin Smith has directed some TV shows for Marvel, and he also works on the promotional team for Marvel, so he's got a connection with Chris Hemsworth. He might have his phone number, I could just phone him up and say, would you like to appear in my movie? It may be just a cameo because he hasn't got a character name yet, so it may just be a cameo that appears in this movie. This is another one called Onward, and I think this is animation. Yeah, it's an animation. It's a Disney Pixar animation. It could be quite a big one. It might be a big budget movie, but this features Tom Holland and Chris Pratt working together doing voices. Now this one is Cowboy Ninja Viking, and there's been a lot of talk about this. It has been delayed quite a bit. This features Chris Pratt and Priyanka Chopra. Now Priyanka Chopra has done the voice for Miss Marvel for a Marvel computer game, but she's also due to appear in the Ms. Marvel movie as Ms. Marvel's mother, because she met with Anthony and Joe Russo out in India, and she is rumoured to appear in the movie Ms. Marvel as the character's mother. Now this Shang-Chi, this is a really strange one, because Destin Daniel Cretton, who's going to be the director of Shang-Chi, he's actually directed 3 movies featuring Brie Larson. So they've actually worked together 3 times previously, and yet Destin Daniel Cretton is now going to direct a Marvel movie. So it may just be a coincidence, but it's quite a strange coincidence how it's coming all together, where there's so many Marvel connections that the actual leader of Avengers, who is now Captain Marvel, has previously worked with a director 3 times, who's now going to go on to direct a Marvel movie. Now this one, The Voyage of Dr. Dolittle, this is going to feature Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland. So this movie will get a lot of talking points and maybe publicity around Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland working together again. So it's like free publicity that they can essentially latch onto from Avengers Endgame. So these 2 actors will do interviews, and the interview people will say, oh, you worked together in Avengers Endgame. What's it now like to work together on a separate movie outside of Marvel? So it's just a bit more publicity that might add a few more tens or maybe even a large significant amount of money to the box office ratings that this movie gets. So it could be a way just for these movies to get publicity from Avengers Endgame, seeing as Avengers Endgame is almost certain to be the biggest movie of all time. Now this is another one, The Devil of All Time. This again sounds like quite a good movie. So the premise of this one follows a cast of compelling and bizarre characters from the end of World War II to the 1960s in rural southern Ohio and West Virginia. Now this one features Tom Holland and Sebastian Stan. So again, there'll be more talking points and publicity that they can get from the Avengers into this movie. So it's like free publicity for this movie. Now this one actually has 3 actors from Marvel in one movie. So this one is going to be Josh Brolin, Zendaya and Dave Bautista. So again, it's going to be just a little bit of free publicity that they can draw from the Marvel world by hiring these particular actors. So along with working in Marvel and earning millions of dollars by acting in Marvel movies, these actors are then going to go into separate movies and work together and help them to promote these movies from Marvel. So it's Marvel's publicity is spreading throughout Hollywood. Now this is another movie, but this one is Benedict Cumberbatch and Jake Gyllenhaal. Now Jake Gyllenhaal has obviously just joined Marvel in the latest Spider-Man movie. And this is another one, this again sounds quite good. So this is called The Finest Kind, and it's based on two brothers who were pulled into a deal with an organised crime syndicate in Boston. And this will feature Zendaya and Jake Gyllenhaal, both again from Spider-Man. So there's actors who are working together in standalone Marvel movies who are now going to go into separate movies. And it's just a whole trend that's developed. Wherever you go on IMDb, you'll see Marvel actors or producers or directors working together. So it's these producers that are outside of Marvel. Just look at this as a way of getting free publicity. And it's a real trend that you're going to hear about. You're going to hear about this more and more over the next 2 to 3 years, about how Marvel is just spreading into all different types of movies. So if you have heard of any other movies that feature Marvel characters, Marvel actors or Marvel directors, leave your comments below and also like and subscribe. But I think you're going to hear about this more and more into the future. So again, leave your comments below and also like and subscribe.